Did you know that almost 90% of people will face at least one major adversity in their lives, whether it's losing a loved one, facing financial ruin, or dealing with a life-altering illness? And yet, only a small fraction develop the resilience needed to truly bounce back and rebuild. It's so easy to feel overwhelmed by hardship. So often, we're told to be strong, but what if you just don't feel that strength? What if the pain is so deep it's hard to breathe, let alone imagine a way forward? That was me. For a long time, I was trapped in that darkness, and I never thought I'd see a way out. I'm Jordan. I'm 35 years old, and I never thought that life could feel so heavy. I've always heard that people become stronger through adversity, that there's some hidden resilience we all possess. But when I hit rock bottom, it didn't feel like that. There was no inner strength, no silver lining, just endless days of aching numbness, sleepless nights, and the constant question, why me? The first blow came out of nowhere. One moment, my life was smooth and secure, and the next, I lost my job. I'd been with the company for nearly a decade, building my life around the steady paychecks and the security it provided. I had plans, dreams, goals, and in a heartbeat, they felt like they had slipped right through my fingers. I'd never thought much about resilience before. I was the type of person who liked things planned, safe, predictable. Losing my job was like being thrown into an ocean without knowing how to swim. I tried to tell myself it was a phase, a bump in the road. I applied for job after job, facing rejection after rejection. Every no chipped away at my confidence, turning my mind into a battlefield. My days grew longer, and my nights shorter. I was up until 3 or 4 in the morning, staring at the ceiling, wondering what I had done wrong, what I could have done differently. That haunting, empty question, why me, became my constant companion. But life wasn't done with me yet. Barely a few weeks into my unemployment, my mom fell ill. It was sudden, brutal, and completely unexpected. She was my rock, my safe place. I leaned on her for everything, even more now that my life had been so abruptly turned upside down. Watching her health deteriorate, I felt powerless. There was nothing I could do, no way to stop it, no way to fix it. The helplessness became a heavy weight pressing on my chest, an unrelenting pain that twisted my insides in knots. I started slipping into this pit of sadness, where every thought, every breath was filled with fear and grief. I felt alone, isolated. The few friends I tried to talk to didn't understand. They offered words that felt empty, meaningless. You'll get through this, they'd say, or, everything happens for a reason. But none of it made any sense to me. How could anyone understand the gut-wrenching agony I felt every morning, knowing I'd face another day with nothing but heartbreak and despair? And then, just as I thought things couldn't get any worse, they did. I got a call one morning that a close friend of mine had been in an accident. The doctors said it was bad, that his chances weren't good. My heart shattered. The hits just kept coming, one after another, like waves crashing against me. Every time I tried to find my footing, another wave would come, stronger, harder, more relentless than the last. I stopped reaching out, stopped trying to make anyone understand. I was drowning, and I couldn't imagine how anyone could throw me a life vest strong enough to pull me out. I'd wake up in the middle of the night drenched in sweat, heart racing, gasping for air, feeling as if the walls were closing in. I barely ate, and when I did, I couldn't taste the food. Life had lost all. Its color, its joy, its meaning. One day, I sat alone in my room, clutching an old photo of my mom and me from when I was a child. My face in the photo looked so happy, so full of hope. I felt like that person was a stranger to me now. I was numb, hollow. I wanted to scream, to break something, to shake the world and demand an explanation. How could everything I loved, everything I depended on, be torn away from me all at once? The life I once knew was gone, replaced by this endless shadow. Time didn't heal anything. Each day, I felt more broken, more detached. Some days I'd just lie on the floor, staring up at the ceiling, wishing that somehow, someway, I could find a way back to the person I used to be. But the harder I tried, the further away that person seemed. I didn't know if I could ever escape this endless pain, this suffocating grief. I didn't think there'd be a way out of that darkness, but in time, I began to see that even the smallest steps mattered. My first moment of clarity came one quiet morning. I was lying there, once again staring at the ceiling, wondering if this would ever end, when it hit me. I could keep lying here forever, or I could try to make one small change. Just one. And I'll admit, it didn't feel like a recovery epiphany, or some miraculous turning point. It felt like I was desperately grabbing for something, anything, to pull myself out. So I started with something simple, getting out of bed each day at the same time. As minor as that seemed, it grounded me, gave me one small accomplishment each morning. Next, I set a goal to go for a short walk every day. At first, I didn't even make it around the block. But I kept going, trying to push just a little further each time. I began to realize that resilience isn't something you're born with or that you miraculously discover. It's something you build, step by step. Gradually, I started reaching out to people who'd been through tough times themselves. I joined a support group where people shared their stories of personal growth, survival, and resilience in adversity. Hearing their stories brought me a kind of relief, like my grief wasn't a burden I was carrying alone. One man in the group, who'd lost his business and gone through his own struggles, gave me some advice I'll never forget. The only way out is through, but you don't have to go through it alone. His words stuck with me. I didn't need to face it all at once. I just needed to keep moving forward, even if it was slow. Soon, I found a therapist who helped me understand my emotions and taught me techniques to manage the overwhelming anxiety and fear that came with each setback. Through therapy, I learned about mindfulness, grounding techniques, and the importance of self-compassion. It was the first time I felt a sliver of control over the storm inside my mind. For the first time, I began to notice progress, real progress. I started journaling, which became an anchor, a place where I could spill out my emotions without judgment. Writing became a safe space, a private escape where I could revisit the pain but also see how far I'd come. In that journal, I saw my journey laid out before me, and it helped me appreciate every small step, each tiny victory along the way. Then, I began to focus on my physical health. I started eating more nourishing foods, focusing on energy rather than instant gratification. It wasn't an overnight change. Each meal felt like a conscious effort, reminding myself that my body deserved care even if I didn't feel deserving in the moment. I reconnected with the joy of cooking, experimenting with recipes, and eating meals that actually fueled me. This small shift reminded me that nurturing myself wasn't selfish or unnecessary, it was essential. Building resilience was about more than the mind. It was about the body and soul, too. I started volunteering at a local shelter, hoping that being part of something larger than myself would pull me further out of my grief. And it did. Helping others reminded me of my purpose, brought a sense of fulfillment that I'd been missing. In those moments of giving, I saw that life could have meaning again, even in its most painful, chaotic form. One day, as I walked past a bookstore, a title on the shelf caught my eye. Cultivating Resilience, Bouncing Back from Adversity. Curious, I picked it up, flipping through pages that seemed to speak directly to my soul. The words mirrored my journey, the struggle to find hope in despair, the challenge of building inner strength when everything feels lost. The author's stories and insights resonated with me on a deep level. This book was like a conversation with someone who truly understood where I'd been, who had walked through the shadows and come out the other side. The book didn't give me a magic solution. It wasn't a quick fix. Instead, it gave me practical steps, like setting small, achievable goals, finding a routine, and reaching out for support, all things I'd begun to discover on my own, but with the guidance and validation that I so desperately needed. It was my map through the maze, helping me see that resilience wasn't about denying pain, but about facing it with courage, taking back control little by little. For anyone who's struggling, feeling trapped in their own pain, I can't recommend Cultivating Resilience, Bouncing Back from Adversity enough. It's not just a book, it's a lifeline, a gentle hand guiding you toward light even when it feels out of reach. If you want to rebuild yourself, find hope, and take those first steps back from adversity. Grab a digital copy at librefy.com, the link's in the description. This book helped me see a way forward, and I believe it can help you too.